Hello, friendos and randos. They finally revealed all six of the new starter decks that are coming out next week. So I figured that now's the best time to start reviewing all of them. For those of you not in the know, the six starter decks that they've released are red Shanks, green Bonney, green yellow Yamato, blue Buggy, purple black Luffy, and black Teach. So those are the six starter decks that they've revealed. Some of them are going to be a little bit stronger than the others based off the reviews we already know. It is pretty similar to the last round of starter decks, and if you remember, those Dofi and Purple Luffy were like orbital cannon into the meta because of cards from those decks. And then some other decks like Black Smoker also got some pretty decent support, whereas some others they got some support, but like they're still not that good. But had good cards like 7 cost Newgate from the red deck, which was really good and is still used to this day by, of course, non-Newgate decks like Red Blue Mako and by Red Shanks. So let's talk a little bit about the different starter decks they've released, and then we'll talk about the cards in each of them. So let's start off with Shanks. So first off, for Shanks, we do have this red Uta card. If you have a character with 10,000 power or more, give this card in your hand -4 cost. And it has blocker and it is a 2k counter. So pretty good card in my opinion. It is a film card though, like it's not a red hair pirates type card, so it isn't going to be searchable off the Uta searcher. And other than that, it being a 2k counter, it does have a few spots that it's competing with in the Shanks deck. Notably, it competes with the 2020 Chopper 4 cost 6k blocker. It also competes with the with Hongo, with Otama, and with Lime Juice. So I don't know if this card will be able to see much play, but it does have quite a bit of potential in other decks as well. I think notably decks like Red Green Smoker that would be able to play 8 cost Kid would be very happy to play this card off of the 8 cost Kid. It would also be a very strong 2k counter card to have there. Specifically because this card doesn't specify that the character needs to be 10,000 base power, so just attaching Dawn would be enough to meet this condition to make this blocker a 2 cost, which is pretty good. The next card we have is the other SR Shanks. If your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, give this card in your hand -3 cost. So it is a 6 cost 10k power character, which is really, really strong. And on play, if your leader has the red hair pirates type or is Uta, if your leader gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this is pretty good because it is both Shank support and it's also red Uta and red purple Uta support. I think both those red and red purple Uta are definitely leaders. They're definitely not very strong. So some support for those is pretty good. Shanks is also not doing too well in OP11. So having this is pretty good support for him as well. Although it does come out a little bit late, as your opponent needs to have an 8k base power character. The earliest you will probably see this come down is on your 7 Dawn turn anyway, and that's only assuming like your opponent plays a 6 cost vanilla. But you have to remember in OP11, one of the really strong decks is blue purple Luffy, and they can ramp to 8 Dawn as soon as their 6 Dawn turn. With 2 ramp cards, so it's actually possible for them to have that on their 6 Dawn turn, and then you can play this Shanks down in response on your 7 Dawn turn, which I think is a very, very powerful like tempo swing, and that can give you a lot of pressure. And not only that, of course, being 7k base is really, really powerful for Shanks because of how innately tanky he is already, with that -1k for free every turn. So I think it's going to be a pretty big buff. The Shanks deck already has a bit of an issue with like space constraints, so we will have to see how that develops. The first of our new common cards is Ben Beckman. He's a 4/5, 1k counter. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. If your leader has the red hair pirates type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base power of 4,000 or less. So this is pretty weak. Base power means it doesn't really hit many like useful targets. Off the top of my head, I think the only really good ones are like some charm blockers and then Zorojiro. And yeah, it doesn't really do much for the deck, especially because it says base power, like you're unable to like reduce anything, and it also still costs 1 card to trash, so I think this is really, really weak. As much as it does come with a body, like compare this to like Vista from OP02, right? On play just KOs a power like 3000 power character. As much as the body is like 3/3 instead, I think that effect is still like significantly better. For one, it's not leader locked. For two, there's no discard. For three, like it doesn't affect only base power. So yeah, I feel this card is pretty weak. Next is Luffy. One cost 2k power, 1k counter. Activate main, you may rest one of your Dawn cards and this character. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 1000 power during this turn. It's pretty underwhelming. It is a red Supernova Straw Hat crew, so Agilo support. I don't think it's very powerful. Especially because it's not even a 2k counter card. I think this could have very easily been a 2k counter like 1-1-0 or 1-1. And I think then that would have made it much more playable. But right now in its current state, it's pretty bad. Minus 1k per turn is pretty. It's okay, but it's also like 1 cost per turn. So it's not even like Red Force where you get to do it for free every turn. You still have to pay it on, and you need to protect the character. So I think this is really weak as well. And lastly, we have Yasop. 1 cost 1k power, activate main once per turn, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So it's just a red hair pirates type Nami or Koala. I don't feel like any of the like decks that played with a red hair pirates archetype really needed this. Off the top of my head, like the decks that kind of want this kind of effect are Dragon, Sabo, who already have Koala, ST23 Luffy, who already has Nami, and Mako, who doesn't use any of these cards anyway and doesn't really play a searcher most of the time. So yeah, I don't know what this deck, like this card was printed for. It doesn't really help anyone in particular. So yeah, I think this is pretty bad. Overall rating for the deck so far, based on the 5 new cards, like C. I think the 2 SRs are decent, but the 3 commons are really bad. So how I'm going to like rank like what you can expect is that like Dofi, for example, the Dofi starter deck is S tier. It had 5 really good cards in Buggy, Crocodile, Hancock, Law, and Teach. 4 of the 5 was super played, like were always played in Doflamingo, and then 1 was like sometimes played until there were better options. So that deck is S tier. Then Purple Luffy as well, Luffy Taro, Zorojiro, Sangoro, Onami, Usohachi. Like every single card is really good. With Onami being like the only sometimes played one. So that deck S tier, right? So for a deck with only like 2 good cards, probably C tier. I think this is a really bad starter deck. Uta and Shanks are nice additions, and that's about it. Briefly, I want to talk about the leader. The leader card looks really nice. I remember the early leaks where it looked really bad because they tried to upscale the images. But yeah, this actually ends up looking pretty nice. I actually like it a little bit more than the current alternate art leader. So yeah, if I ever do play Shanks, I'm definitely using this instead. But with all the new starter decks, I think all the art is pretty good in general. But let's talk more about the card quality. Next is Bonney. We don't have the official deck list, card list on the official website yet, but we do have some leaks. So we are going to be, I mean, we have it fully leaked, the new cards at least. So we're going to talk about it from that perspective. So first we have X Drake. He is 5 cost 5k 2k counter, which is nice, and then he is Supernova Navy Drake Pirates, as all X Drake cards are. So on play, if your leader has the Supernova's type, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less, then set up to one of your Dawn cards as active at the end of this turn. So he is kind of like the 5 cost carrot 2k counter. He only reslants your Dawn once on the turn he's played, and he also rests 5 cost character, which can help you like set up a carrot or just trade into it, which is not too bad. I think most importantly, he is in archetype 2k counter, so that makes it searchable. He's pretty good. He's also slash type, so if you're playing it in a different Supernova leader, you can search it off of Perona. So if you're using like Zoro or Red Green Law or Green Yellow Law, he is searchable off of the Perona searcher as well, which is really good. Then we have 4 cost 4k Basil Hawkins 2k counter. End of your turn, set up to one of your Dawn cards as active. This is the carrot equivalent basically. So really good as well. Supernova type, so searchable in archetype, not leader locked. searchable slash type if you're playing Mihawk, as in the 3-cost Mihawk, so it's playable off of that. He's also Supernova searchable. He's 4-cost, which makes it cheaper to play him than Carrot as well. You can play on the 4-don turn, which is one of the weaker turns for Bonney, which is a kind of nice, which is a nice little buff for Bonney, I think. Just having these two new 2k counters. I don't think it really solves any of the problems that Bonney had in the past, in terms of like 2k counters being like too bad or whatever. To my understanding, Bonney lists usually ran like just searchable 2ks like Apu, which is actually pretty relevant in the OP11 meta, where decks like GP Luffy and UP Luffy are really popular. Apu is actually really powerful to rest those Dawn for Gigant. And for OP12, when you have Ashura, I think Ashura Bake, those Dawn resting effects can really stack up. So I think Apu will still see play. I think the 1-cost Apu is probably the one that sees the cut, the one that rests 2-cost or lower character. I think 2-cost or lower blockers are not super prevalent in the current meta, so I think that probably sees a cut. And I think these two are pretty decent new 2k counters for sure. Okay, next we have Capone Beji. He is a 2-cost 1k counter, 1k power blocker. On play, if you have 6 or more rested cards, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. He's okay. He's Cycle. He's a searchable blocker. He is a slight upgrade, I guess, from the 1-cost 1k blocker from the starter deck. Just cost 1 more, but he also lets you cycle. I think this slot is pretty competitive for Bonney. In general, like the cheap blocker slot, because Rocinante is so good. I think it's really difficult to cut that for this. So yeah, I don't think that that's going to see any play, or if it does, like maybe like very little play. Okay, next are the SRs. So first we have Kid and Killer, 2-cost 2k power, 1k counter. On play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, review a Supernova type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. On your opponent's attack, you may trash this character, set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. So this is pretty good. It is a 2-cost searcher, searches top 5, so kind of like Shura from the Sky Island archetype. And it has an additional effect because it's 2-cost, which is on your opponent's attack, you may trash this character and then restand 1 Dawn. So this is really good for Bonney, of course. So this means that on your 2 Dawn turn, you can park this here, like you can just play it, search a card, and then park it there until you are playing on curve and you need that extra Dawn restand that you weren't able to get otherwise. So if this stays under your 10 Dawn turn, for example, then you can use that to get the extra Dawn active, which is really good. Other lines that I can think of off the top of my head is 8-cost Kid. If you only have a Smoker instead of a Cavendish, for example, on your 8 Dawn turn, you can play 8-cost Kid, play down Kid and Killer, and then use your Smoker, restand 1 Dawn, attach it to the 8-cost Kid, and then during your opponent's turn, you can sack Kid and Killer to get your Dawn back. So pretty good lines. And then this is also meant to synergize, I think, with the next card, which is Law and Beppo, which is a 10-cost card. So again, if you are playing this 10-cost card, you won't have Dawn open, so you want to sack that Kid and Killer so you can have that Dawn open. But Law and Beppo, like the Shanks we saw earlier, 10-cost 11k power on play, rest up to 1 of your opponent's characters, and that character will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Then, if your opponent has 2 or more rested characters, your leader gains plus 2000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this Law and Beppo card makes your leader 7k base, just like Shanks in the Shanks starter deck. It does have a few differences, of course. First of all, it doesn't have that free cost reduction, which is actually pretty significant, I think. Bonney in general would really prefer to have that cost reduction over this extra resting effect, I feel. Because 10 cost is really slow when it comes to like being able to play it, especially in the OP11 meta, where it will be really fast with both GP Luffy as well as UP Luffy in set. Some of the good things about this card are that it rests any cost character and it locks any cost character, which is really good, just like the 5-cost Bonney. And not only that, you also don't have to wait for the character to already be rested, because it can rest the character itself, so that's strong. But I don't know if this card will be strong enough to see play in Bonney. Of course, it is a generic card, which is another reason why I think it doesn't have like that much built into it, because any leader can actually use this card, which means right off the bat, one of the first synergies I thought of was playing this in Green Purple Limb, because you're able to ramp to this. If you're going second, you can play this on turn 4, which seems pretty strong, and he's also searchable off of 1 cost Searcher Law because he's a hard pirate. Other than that, he's also Mink and Supernova, so maybe even Carrot would be considering playing this. It's searchable off of the Wanda Searcher after all. So there are different options for what this deck fits in. I don't think it fits the best in Bonney, but we'll see what the more famous Bonney chefs like Fudelio or Noel will cook up. Next up for green yellow is Yamato. We also don't have that deck fully revealed yet, so again we're gonna look at leaks. So this is the most recent leak. This Kinemon card, 4 cost 5k power slash 2k counter. No original effect, but trigger if your leader has the land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or less life cards, play this card. At first I thought this wasn't that good, because this was the last card to be released, and I was really hoping for a little bit more. But I think this is actually pretty decent now that I think about it. It automatically replaces Satori, which was one of the weaker 2k counters that you played, but you played just because it was a 2k counter. The one weakness, of course, is if you are going second and your opponent hits you on 3 and this is your first life, you aren't going to be able to play it down unless you're against like UP or RP Luffy. But I think that's a pretty worthwhile trade. The trade-offs are, of course, it being 1 cost less, it being slash type, and it also being 1-0 type. So those 3 things do make it a pretty decent upgrade. I think for one being playable off of the 3 cost Mihawk is really good. It will help you do flood, it will give you more slash targets as well. Unfortunately, Yamato isn't slash type, so Yamato won't be able to use the Perona Searcher, which is a big bummer for me, because I have been considering that card a lot in my OP12 cooking. But I think in the meantime, for OP11 for the West at least, this is a really good card to replace Satori. Before you guys get Baby 5 as well. I think the 2Ks for Yamato will probably be Mihawk, Kinemon, and then maybe you run what's his face? Maybe you run either the Trigger Law promo, or you can run the Hiyori for searchability. So I think either or are pretty decent. So Trigger Law because it is slash type. Okay, next is one of the SRs. You have Momonosuke. He is a 6/7 slash type as well. Your turn, if you have 2 or less life cards, your leader gains plus 1k power. So that's pretty nice. Unfortunately, it's your turn only, but yeah, I think they don't really want to give Yamato any extra beef, which I think makes sense, because Yamato is supposed to be a bit more of a glass cannon type leader. Then activate main once per turn. You may return 2 total of your currently given Dawn cards to your cost area rested. So this means that if you have any Dawn that is like on any of your characters or your leader, then you return those 2, and then this character gains rush and plus 1000 power during this turn, which is pretty good. So basically this is a 6/8. So it does, because you can activate this effect every turn, you can do quite a bit of work with it. So you can attach with 2 Dawn with your leader effect to a different character and then swing with that, and then after that you get to use Momonosuke's effect, get those 2 Dawn back into your cost area, and then you can swing with this character for 8, which is pretty good in general. I think there are a lot of pretty good lines where this can be very effective. Not only that, of course, it boosts your leader as well, which is pretty nice. I think this does help you actually match up with like the 6k base leaders like green, purple, and blue, purple Luffy a bit, because of that extra 1k power, which is really good. And on top of that, it is just a 6/8 rush, which is very good for aggression as well. I think he does have quite a bit of potential as a SR. I think he has a lot of strength in terms of like the overall card quality. He kind of reminds me of like 5 cost Ace that does a little bit of extra work. And another nice thing is that his neither of his effects are on place, which means your already good Blackbeard matchup will be even better with this card, which is really nice. Okay, Next, we have Ashura Doji, 3 cost 3k slash as well, 1k counter. On play, if your leader has the land of Wano type and your opponent has 3 or more life cards, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 5 or less. So at first, I thought this was pretty good, and then I saw it was 3 or more life cards, and it immediately dropped to F tier. So, pretty shit, I feel. It's very antithetical to like Yamato's playstyle in general, which is on 3 down you always jam. And like, it just doesn't really feel that good to play this card, I feel, because it means that you can't swing at your opponent for like 1 turn, and afterwards, like, your opponent is probably not going to be in range for like 3 or more life in order for you to use this effect. Like the priority targets that it has, like Sanji and Pudding, which is the most like highest priority base cost 5 character, it doesn't get hit by this because of like just it, like Green Purple Luffy being a 4 life leader, if they take 1 hit, they're already at 2, so it's super unlikely. I did consider a line where you like play 4 cost Kuzan to heal like a searcher, and then after that then you play Ashura to answer Sanji and Pudding, but it just feels very convoluted and not super consistent, and I don't really like that. So I think this card is pretty bad for now. For now, we'll see if they do end up improving it. On the flip side, I think it's actually really good for the yellow mono Yamato leader, because that leader does not have double attack. So yeah, I think that like is a pretty good KO card in that context, but that leader is pretty shit, so let's not dwell too much on that. Next we have Izo. 2 cost 1k, 1k counter, Dawn times 2. This character gains blocker, so you're supposed to use your leader effect on this, but I don't really like that. I think it should have just had blocker in like the first place, and that would have been fine. Like, wasting my leader effect to make a 2-1 blocker seems really unfortunate. On play, your land of Wano type leader gets banished during this turn, so it is Onami basically. Onami is still better, simply because the trigger is really broken. Like, being able to KO a 5 cost is really, really good in the current meta, so I don't think this replaces Onami. Maybe I play this as like a 2-off on top of my 4 Onami, but then it will be a space constraint issue, so we'll see. Lastly, we have Yamato himself as a searcher. 1 cost 0 power, counter 1k, Dawn times 2 your turn. This character gains plus 3000 power, so this is pretty nice because you're gonna be able to use this as a beater basically. Of course it is 0 power, but it becomes a 5k power character once you use your leader effect on it, and it does solve one of the main pain points I've had with Yamato, where like on your 3 Dawn or on your 5 Dawn turn, after you swing, you don't have another character to take advantage of your leader effect on that turn. So this is a nice little boost for that. Then on play, it is a Wano searcher, so it reveals a Wano type card with a cost of 2 or more and adds it to your hand, and then places the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So pretty nice. Overall, nice searcher. I would have really liked if it were 1k power and then goes up to 6, but I can see how that might be a little too powerful. Or if it were a 2k power base and then it gets Dawn times 2, gets an additional 1k power, I think that would have been better, because at least this way it can trade into searchers without needing that Dawn investment. But whatever, I guess. Like, this is how they decided to design it. I can't really complain. But I don't love the 0 base power. I think it gets traded into for like literally 0 investment. And those are the 5 Yamato cards. How do I feel about this deck? I think that the SRs are really good. Momonosuke and Yamato are really, really strong. In terms of like, as a searcher, Yamato is really good. Because it synergizes really well with the leader effect. It lets you pump it to a bit bigger as well. And there's not that many 1 cost mono type cards I want anyway, so it's okay. Then Momonosuke, I think Momonosuke has a very, very strong ceiling. I think it's really good in general as a card. It has a very high power level. It gives you a lot of value. It gives you a 6/8, it gives you a rusher, it gives you 1k power on your leader, and it gives you like some additional utility on your leader effect. If you're choosing to play cards like what's it? Ichidai Sansen Daisen Sakai, the 1 cost Radical Beam for green, where you need to have a lot of rested cards. This is actually pretty synergistic with that as well, because it returns those given Dawn cards back to your cost area and considers them rested now. So that's like a little like niche interaction it has. So I think it is a pretty good card in general. It does a lot of work. Kinemon is really good. I think it's a fantastic 2k counter for the deck. It's a very nice boost and replaces the Satori slot, which is something that I've really wanted for a while. So I'm very happy about that. Ashura I don't like I said, I think he's pretty bad. And then Izo is decent, but I think he could have just been a regular blocker and that would have been fine. So overall, I think 3 really good cards, 2 kind of bad cards. I'll give the deck like a B for maybe a B plus. I'll give it a B plus for my rating. I think I forgot to rate the Bonney deck as well. But of the 5 cards that they've released for Bonney, I think most of them are like decent, but none of them are like great. So I think because Bonney is kind of competitive on 2Ks, because you do need Tashigi like at minimum, right? So you only have 8 slots. I think Hawkins probably makes it. I don't know if Drake makes it, and then I think the 2-cost Apu probably stays. So but having more options is always nice, so I think that's good. Beige I think is decent but not good enough. And I think Kid and Killer is really good, the Searcher is really good. Law and Beppo is okay, but I don't think the best. So I'm gonna give this deck a B as well. I think it has like a decent like overall level, but none of them are like super good. Like if Yamato had like 3 A's and then 2 F's, Bonney has like 5 B's, and okay, maybe 4 B's and like 1 A, like Kid and Killer is an A. So yeah, I think overall like we'll give it a B average still. Next we have Buggy. Let's look at the leader first. It looks really good. I love Buggy. He's looking very buggy here. Alright. One nice thing is that they're also reprinting this promo card in the starter deck, which I actually don't have yet, so I'm pretty happy about that as well. It was kind of expensive, so I'm pretty happy it's here. But I'm surprised they didn't reprint the 6-cost Shanks promo in the Shanks in the Shanks deck. Okay, first up we have Elvira, 4-cost 5k, 1k counter. So this is going to be a trend that they are going to print a lot of 4-costs in this starter deck, which didn't make sense at first until I read all the effects. If you have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more, this character gains +1 cost. On play, if your leader is Buggy, draw 3 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. So this is pretty nice. Having a good 4 cost is actually really important because Buggy's weakest turns in the past were 4 and 9 because there's no good like 4 costs that he really wanted to play. Having this as an option is really nice to have. Not only that, if you have enough 5-cost characters, then this becomes a 5-cost, which also helps you with the 10-cost Buggy effect. So I think that's really good. Next is Kabaji. 4-cost 1k, 2k counter. If you have 2 or more characters with a base cost of 5 or more, this character gains blocker and +1 cost. Then opponent's turn, this character gains +5k power. So it is a 4/6 blocker essentially, and it's a 2k counter as well, which is actually really good. Because I think the previous cross guild 2k counters weren't particularly special or like good. So having this buff is pretty nice. Not only that, same thing as the Elvira, it does have that +1 extra cost, making it a 5-cost, which helps you with your 10-cost Buggy effect actually being able to activate. And I'm just going to skip ahead to the other 2k counter that they've released because he's almost essentially the same thing. 4-cost 1k, 2k counter, he's also a blocker, same effect. And on KO, if your leader is Buggy and you have 3 or less cards in your hand, you can draw 1 card, which is also nice. Just having that extra card draw is good. And of course, Moji and Kabaji are Buggy's OG pirate crew commanders. His first mate and his left hand, I guess. So I think their art is also connected. I think they're on the same couch. I can't tell. Are they? I need to put them side by side to take a look later, but are they connected? It's the same artist. Well, we'll find out like later, I guess. But yeah, I think those two are pretty decent buffs. Same thing, having more like quote unquote 5 costs are pretty good. Because this also gives you that 2k counter slot, you're also like not too upset about like playing these down as blockers as well, because they are very good quality 2k counters. And in general, I think it's just pretty powerful. Okay, next are the 2 SRs. So first you have Croc and Mihawk. I'm just going to call this Croc. 8 cost 7k power. On play, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Then play up to 1 cross guild type character with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. So it plays any of those 3 other support cards that we talked about already, which is pretty nice. Draw 2 trash 1 is net neutral, but then if you play another card down, then it becomes -1. But of course you get another body, which is nice. This being 8 cost is kind of expensive, but of course remember you play it down with Buggy's leader effect. So it is basically cheated out and it's harder to remove, which is important as well. Then once per turn, if your cross-guild type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand instead. So this is pretty good as well, just being able to protect your bodies in general, which is one of the things that Buggy really struggled with in the past. I think he will still struggle with hand size now, even though he does have more like net neutral cards like Elvida and 6 cost Mihawk and now this as well. Although this is technically not really net neutral because you are going to play pay 1 to play this out early, but it's still pretty good. I think this is a very strong card, and it's definitely something that Buggy would have wanted or needed, so I think it's a really good buff. Okay, last is the Buggy SR. So 4 cost 1k 1k counter. Activate main, you may trash 1 card from your hand and trash this character. If your leader is Buggy, play up to 1 cross-guild type character with a cost of 6 or less from your hand. So this is not too bad. It basically gives you another leader effect. However, it is limited to 6 cost instead of any cost like the leader is. I think this would have been good if it let you play 7, but I also think that it might have been too broken if it let you play 7, because then you could have played Microc into Buggy and then Buggy into 7 Croc into another 5 cost, which would have given you like 3 7k bodies in 1 turn, which would be really strong. So I see why they made it 6 costs only, but I don't know if like that line between balanced and broken is actually really important though, like because I don't know if this sees play if it can only cheat out Mihawk blocker is the main issue here. It is strong, I think, but it's also very expensive. Like -2 to play down a 6 cost is quite a lot, and none of like Buggy's cards are plus cards. They're all just neutral, and that is going to be an issue. So I think you would much rather just play like Microc into either of the 2 blockers or into Elvida, and that would be like much better. So I don't know. I think this card is okay, and maybe if they release better 6 cost cross-guild cards in the future, it will be worth it, but for now I don't think it's that good. So that's my verdict on the Buggy cards. I think Microc is really good. The 2k counters are really good as well, and Elvida is exceptional. So I think for all of the cards, I think they're of course very tailored to Buggy, and I don't think any other deck will ever use them. But for Buggy alone, I think across the board S tiers, and then Buggy, like his own character is like a B, maybe a C, with a potential to go up to A or higher if they print better like 6 cost support. So pretty good, honestly. I think this entire starter deck will get a A tier from me, or maybe even a S tier. In terms of like the starter deck itself, I don't think Buggy, the leader, will become S tier after this, but he will get a very substantial buff, and might even take him into like maybe tier 1 or tier 1.5 from where he is now at like tier 3. Alright, so we have Purple Black Luffy next. I think this leader card looks really good. I really love Nika, of course. So very nice art. I'm really happy with it. I do think the set leader art is still a little bit more iconic, so I probably still prefer to use that though. Let's start with Soba Mask. He is a 7/9. If you have a Sangoro or Sanji character with 7k base power or more, give this card in your hand -5 cost. So kind of like the Uta from the Shanks starter deck. This card doesn't have counter though, but it's a 7/9, so there's a vanilla stat line, which is really good. On play, return all of your Sangoro and Sanji characters to its owner's hand. So, this is actually really good in one specific matchup, Teach. So, versus Teach, he locks your on plays. If you play a 7 cost Sanji or 5 cost Sangoro, you can play this down for free, basically. Like you not for free, but you can play this down for 2 costs, and then after that you don't need to bounce anything. So that's really good. In that specific matchup. In every other matchup, I think it's not bad. Being able to return, being forced to return your Sanji back to your hand is not the greatest, but there is some caveats, right? Next is Chopper. He's a 3-4 blocker, 1k counter. On play Dawn -2, you may rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards or a character with a cost of 1 or less. This is really good into blue purple and green purple Luffy. Of course, being able to rest Dawn is very, very significant in those matchups. So, plain and simple, but very good. And of course, you can also just use it to trade into a searcher, for example, like on your 3-down turn if you have nothing better to play, which is pretty unfortunate for this deck, because it is relying on that 3-down ramp. But if you have nothing better to play and you've already searched on your turn 1, you can play this down, go Dawn minus, and then after that, get your active Dawn back, punch into their searcher with your own searcher. So pretty good still. Next is Nico Robin. This card is really, really good. 3 cost 4k power, 2k guard. On play Dawn -2, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck, set it as active. So this is immediately in the deck. Like, it is so good. 3 cost ramp, because Dawn -2, you get both Dawn back and then you get 1 more Dawn back. Really, really, really good. Just insane card for this deck. This deck is super reliant on ramping on 3 and being able to have 4 more targets that do it, so good. And of course they've made it Dawn -2, which is basically leader locking it to this leader as well. So really, really good. Okay, next we have General Frankie, 8 cost 10k power. On play Dawn -2, give up to 2 of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power during this turn. So he is a Honekichi, or the 6 cost Brook, or the 4 cost Brook, actually, same thing. Right now I don't think this is that good. Minus power is okay, but it doesn't really synergize with anything else in the deck. I guess it can synergize with like Gum Lightning, but I don't know. I don't think that it really makes sense in the current iterations of the deck. It is a new boss monster, like a 8-10 is pretty good, but Luffy already has access to really good boss monsters like 9 cost Kaido, 9 cost Luffy, even the black 9 cost Kaido as well. Even Stacy is a pretty decent option, and I think this doesn't provide enough value to make a slot. But it's a decent card, it's just not good enough. I think if it was 8-9 with 1k counter, then it would have made it. It would have been a pretty good option. But because it's a brick, I don't think it has a slot. Okay, lastly is the second SR, Monkey D. Luffy, 6 cost, 7k power. Really love this scene, by the way. This is the toast right before the raid on Onigashima. Or the failed toast, I guess. On play, when attacking Dawn -2, if your leader is multicolored and your opponent has 5 or more Dawn cards on their field, your Straw Hat Crew type leader's base power becomes 7,000 until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So this is, I was gonna say leader locked, but there is so many purple Straw Hat leaders. But it is Dawn -2, of course, which is kind of expensive. First things first, you can't ramp into this unless you're playing against a ramp deck as well, because when you are on, like, if you 3 into 6 and you play this, your opponent won't be at 5 Dawn, so you won't get that base power boost. But I think it's still a pretty decent card. Even though you won't ramp into it, you can probably play it on like the turn after, and this fits into some curves, which is like you can go 3 into 6 into 9 or 3 into 6 into 8, and then you can play this on that 8 Dawn turn. If you are going into 3, 6 into 9, you can play this, you get 2 Dawn back. You get 1 active Dawn back, which means you can play something like Onami blocker, which will be pretty decent, because you will have that 8 Dawn and you will be able to cycle a little bit. And with all of these like extra Dawn -2 effects, I think Frankie, the 4 cost blocker, actually makes a cut. Like, you probably can't fit it in anymore. You probably have to just play cards like Onami instead. But I think that's not too bad either. In general, I think this card is pretty good. Giving you extra defense is something that this deck sorely wished it had in the Dofi era. It's a little bit too late now, because if this card existed in OP10, I think this deck would actually be like playable. Like, it would be like meta-ish, like maybe tier 1 or tier 1.5. But right now, I think it's a bit too little too late. It doesn't really solve the problems it has in the current meta. First of all, the deck lost Moria in the ban list, so it lost that way of fighting the long game. And second of all, like, the current meta is not super like aggro. Like, this card is not as useful into blue purple Luffy when everything is hitting you for 9k. That extra 2k like doesn't really help. And additionally, this card doesn't stack because it says like base power becomes 7k instead of base power plus 2. You can't have 2 of these and then use them to make your leader 9k base, like blue, black, yellow Luffy kind of thing. So I mean, that's balanced, but like it's too balanced. You know what I mean? Like when cards are really good, it's because they are not balanced, right? But this card is balanced, and so that might be the issue that we face. Also 6-7 is not that great of a stat line in the current meta because for one, it get rested by Luna, but for two, I was going to say it gets removed by 9 but if you're playing it in Purple Black Luffy, of course you won't get it removed because you will have that 1 Dawn on your leader giving it +1 cost. So I think it's pretty good, but I don't know if it's what the deck needs to compete. I'll need to test it out to see. Overall rating for the deck, I think Robin is really, really good. Luffy is kind of good. Chopper is good. Frankie is not that good. And then Osomamas can be really good. So I think like a B average around about, maybe a B plus. I think just the Robin alone is enough to make it worth buying this deck though, because that Robin is really, really key. I think will be a very crucial card to add to your Purple Black Luffy deck. I really love this deck, by the way. Ever since it came out, I've been playing it a little bit here and there, and I do have like a couple of videos of it. I really enjoy the playstyle, and I really enjoy the cards that it enables, like 5-cost Sanji. So I will definitely be trying it out. I'm very upset that like Somamas, Frankie, and Luffy are all breaks, because like it really limits the deck building decisions in this deck because there are so many no counter cards, and some of them aren't even that strong. I think Somamas is good, but he's like not like, I don't think he's break good. I think he should have been a 7-8, but like 7-8 1k counter, I think that would have been fine, but it is what it is. So yeah, I really enjoy this deck. I really hope it's playable. I'll be cooking it for sure, for both OP11 and OP12, and yeah, B average. Lastly and leastly, we do have Blackbeard. I don't like Blackbeard. As a character, he's fine. As a leader, I fucking hate him. Yeah, you know what Blackbeard does. I don't like Blackbeard. The art is nice. I think the leader art is still probably nicer. It's a bit more iconic, but I think this is okay. Okay, let's get back into peppy mode. Okay, so first we have Pizarro. Activate main once per turn. You may rest one of your fuller lead cards, the stage Hachinosu. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type card, if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type, this character gains plus 4,000 power during this turn. Okay, on KO draw one card. So he is 1/1 that becomes a 5k attacker if you rest your stage. I don't know if that's worth it. Like in general, Blackbeard doesn't like wants to use his stage, he wants to cycle. So yeah, I don't know if that like tapping that is worth making this guy a 5k attacker. It's okay, but like yeah, and anyway, Blackbeard's like space is really tight already, so I don't think he has the slot for this. Next is Katarina Devon. 2k counter, 1 cost 1k. Activate main, you may trash this character if your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type. Give up to one of your bonus characters -1 cost during this turn. So just another like stronger, but you don't have to like cycle, and you only give -1 cost, but it is a searchable 2k, and then on KO also has draw one card. I don't know like when you're gonna KO this card because it's just there. I guess you could just park it there, and then like against like almost any deck that is not blue, like it won't really get bottom decked or anything, so you will get value. So yeah, I think against any non-blue deck you can just play this out and then use it when you need it, which is not too bad. Next is 6 cost Kuzan, 6/6 1k guard, which is, of course, they had to give him 1k guard instead of just making him bigger. He's a blocker. On KO, play up to 1 Blackbeard's type character card if a cost of 5 or less from your trash rested. This is insane. This is an insane card. So it is a blocker, so it can activate its on KO like really easily. And other than that, like it is net neutral because on KO it gives you another character, so that's really good. And the other character can be the fucking 5 cost Kuzan, which is already a busted card. So this is really, really good. I think Blackbeard again is really tight on space. I don't see this being a 4 off, maybe a 2 off, but it's really, really good card. I think just a lot of power, giving Blackbeard a lot of ways to like get card advantage back is something that I don't really like. Because this card gives you back another card, and if that card is 5 cost Kuzan, you draw a card off of 5 cost Kuzan, so it's basically a net neutral. And Blackbeard should not have net neutral cards. That deck is supposed to lose hand cards, so I really don't like this. Next is Sanhwan Wolf, 4/6. If your leader has the Blackbeard Pirates type card, Blackbeard's Pirates type, this character gains blocker and also +1 cost for every 4 cards in your trash. So it is like the defensive version of Jesus Burgess, I guess. 4/6 blocker in general is really good, and this still has 1k counter, which is crazy. And of course, on play trash one card from your hand, which is negated because it's Blackbeard. Yeah, I don't know why they gave Blackbeard a 4/6 blocker and a 6/6 blocker. Lastly, we have Teach. 7 cost 8k. Activate main, you may rest this character, KO up to one of your opponent's characters. Sorry, KO up to one character with a cost of 3 or less. Hold on. I just realized that this means that you can use this to KO your own Pizarro and your Devon, which is kind of crazy. Like this, I don't think we have any characters that have this kind of effect that can KO your own characters. Wait, this is actually kind of strong. Yeah, I kind of see why this is better than Jack now. So it does have a lot more flexibility because in decks like Dressrosa decks with on KO effects, or like with effects that like that have on KO effects basically. Any deck with on KO effect can use this to activate them themselves, if they're very powerful, which is pretty strong. And then not only that, he has a on KO, add up to 1 black card from your trash to your hand. So even if you kill him, even if you kill this card, it's net neutral, which is so dumb. I really hate the idea of printing black net neutral cards for Teach. I really hate it. But it is what it is. It's really strong. So overall, I think with the discovery that it can do these on KO effects, Teach can now activate his own on KO effects. I think Pizarro and Devon are suddenly a little bit better. Devon is probably like an A tier card now, like because it's searchable 2k and you can proc it off of Blackbeard if you really have to. Like on the turn that Blackbeard has played, if you have a Devon on the board, you can just proc it, which is really strong. On your opponent's end turn, there's no way for you to really proc Kuzan on your own unless you like waste some form of reduction. But it's possible to just sacrifice Kuzan on your own. I don't think it's possible to sacrifice Kuzan on your own. There's no way to like -3 cost to it, I think, to my understanding. Yeah, there's no, I mean, you can't do it on your opponent's turn anyway because it activate main, but there's no way to do it on your own turn either for Kuzan at least, so that's one benefit. But yeah, I think it's interesting that he can do this to, he can also use this on what's his face, on Doc Q, when like in those Blackbeard endgames where there's like Doc Q on the board and he just sits there and does nothing for like 5 turns, you can use this Teach to get rid of it. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so irritating. I hate Teach. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, this card is really good. The Teach is S tier. I think guaranteed is really good. Sunhong Wolf is a very nice buff as well. 4/6 blocker, really good. Katarina Devon in archetype 2k counter, really good. Kuzan net neutral card, really good. Pizarro, kind of funny meme card. But synergizes with this Teach card as well, so 50-50. Yeah, I think, man, oh god, this is so irritating. Okay, sure. Well, you can tell how much I don't like this fucking deck, man. Oh my god. Okay, well, yeah, overall the cards supported, I think like 4, like 3 A tier cards, 1 S tier card. I think yeah, definitely a A or S tier for the deck in general. So very unfortunately, but I think Blackbeard has like the best starter deck out of the 6 they've released. I forget the ratings I gave the others because I'm so tilted by this Blackbeard card now that I've made this realization. Fuck! Okay. Anyway. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, in terms of the overall decks, I think Blackbeard got the fucking best starter deck, which is irritating. Then we have, after that, I think, I gave Yamato like an A, right? Yamato like an A, Shanks like a B. Bonney was a A as well, or B plus. PB Luffy was like a B plus. Buggy was a A. So yeah, I think in order of like who got the best starter decks, it's probably Teach, and then after that Buggy is S. Yeah, it's Teach and Buggy, followed by Yamato and Bonney, and then I think Luffy, and then Shanks, probably in that order. All 6 of the starter decks have some pretty decent cards. Some of them are more generic than others, like Law and Beppo. Some of them are kind of a bit too leader locked, like the purple black Luffy cards as well as the Buggy cards. But I don't think that's an issue personally. I think getting specific support is pretty good as well, and it's a good way to keep like the game balance while also giving new like older decks some new what's the word, new lease on life, and they can always do more by printing leaders that have like printing more Buggy leaders. For example, like if they print a dual color Buggy leader, all of that Buggy support becomes support for him as well. Similarly with like Shanks and Uta and stuff like that, right? So if they print another like red Uta leader, or if they print another supernova green leader, which they seem to love doing, then that also becomes support for them. All in all, I think I'm really excited for the starter decks to release. It is going to be a bit difficult to make content for both the West and the East, because this is the first time that the format has diverged so much. Because I have no experience with OP11 with starter decks at all, so it'll be interesting to cook for it for sure. So I'm really excited for this new era, I guess. I say with Blackbeard on my screen. Get this fucker off my face. Hold on. Let's look at. Yeah, let's go to a character I actually like. Okay. Yeah, so I think all in all, pretty good starter decks. I think that the releases are nice. I think it's interesting that we're moving closer to global release already, and this diverging format is a nice kind of way to see if like the West can really cook as much as they say they can. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the Twitter flame wars for sure. That being said, thank you so much for watching if you watched this far. It's quite a long video, and I think there was a lot of content, and I hope my thoughts gave you some insight here and there. If not, then, well, if you're here, then thanks for watching, I guess. Well, thank you friendos and randos for watching up to this point. If you aren't subscribed already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I really appreciate it. Make sure to drop a like on the video, share it with your friends, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace out.